Of Red Sox Digest. I'm your host tonight, Jim Delfino. And let's be honest, I'm basically the Toronto Blue Jays of podcast hosts. Flashy intros, a lot of noise, but when it comes to crunch time, I'm leaving everything stranded on third. If this monologue had a closer, he'd already have given up a 3-run shot to George Springer. Joining me tonight is Nick Face, the only guy who could lose his voice before the second inning of a Sox Blue Jays game. Toronto fans are sitting there sipping their Tim Hortons, and Nick's already red in the face, yelling like John Farrell just pulled the starter after 12 pitches. He doesn't watch Red Sox Jays, he experiences it like a cardiovascular stress test. Every ball four, every infield single. Nick's pacing like he's waiting for the results of a paternity test on live TV. Also joining me tonight is the baseball savant Nick Diamond, watching this Red Sox Blue Jays series like it's the Cuban Missile Crisis. He's got heat lamps on Vlad Jr., wind trajectory models on Kirk's swing, and 3 spreadsheets explaining why Gosman's splitter is basically Canadian healthcare. Expensive, unreliable, and it's going to hurt you when you need it most. Nick doesn't just watch the Jays, he scouts them like he's applying for Border Patrol. Let's get into it. Your Boston Red Sox are now 86-71 and a game ahead of both the Guardians and the Tigers. This one in Toronto started the way Sox fans feared. Gosman mowed people down like he's playing catch with his kid. Duran whiffed. Story swung through it like he was holding a broomstick. Bregman fly out. First inning, a major dud. Meanwhile, Trevor Story turned the first inning into a blooper reel with a throwing error letting George Springer jog aboard. Luckily, the Jays couldn't cash in. Pop-outs all around. Boston finally cracked it in the second. Masataka Yoshida, Nick Diamond's best friend, ripped a double. Nathaniel Lowe knocked him in with a single, and Wheeler Abreu followed with a 2-bagger that basically just dropped in left field. Suddenly, it was 1-0 Sox, and Jays fans were already refreshing their Rogers cell signal to check the Leafs' preseason scores. Toronto answered back in the fourth. Nathan Lukes doubled, Davis Schneider singled, and Andres Jimenez pushed across a run on a fielder's choice. Tie game 1-1, and Sox Nation groaned, "Here we go again." But then came the sixth inning, the only inning worth watching. Romy Gonzalez doubled, Rafaela singled, Lowe knocked in a run, and then Navarro smacked the big blow, a 2-run double to center, Sox up 4-1, and for one shining moment, Toronto looked like they've hit with a snow shovel. The Jays never recovered. Guerrero Jr. and Varshall struck out in the seventh like they were late for dinner. Springer and Kirk hit lazy outs. By the time the Sox bullpen parade showed up, of Wilson, Whitlock, Slayton, and Chapman, it was all about not blowing it. Ref Schneider pinch hit in the eighth and immediately grounded into a double play because of course he did. That's like showing up late to a party and spilling wine on the host carpet. By the ninth, the Sox were on autopilot. Navarez flew out, Duran whiffed again, and Story grounded out to end it. Sox win 4-1 in a game that looked like molasses, but at least it went our way. And now it's time for Nick Face's Word of the Day.
And now it's time for Nick Face's Word of the Day!
It's the week of survival. Tonight's word is survival. We survived tonight, gentlemen. We won 4-1. It was a nail-biting kind of game. It could have gone either way. We got some help from umps. We didn't get some help from umps. We got some timely hits. We had some horrible errors. To sum it up, it's been the theme of 2025. What you saw tonight has been your season. You saw some ups. You saw some downs. You saw some WTF moments. You saw some, what the heck is Alex Cora doing? You saw Jarren Duran strike out. Did he have the golden sombrero tonight? Was it 4 tonight or was it 3?
He had
3.
Three
He had
at
the
least.
trifecta. He had
was
the
0 for
trifecta
5.
tonight. Yeah, pathetic. You're surviving. It's all you're doing right now. You're delaying the inevitable in my eyes still. It's here we are. It's Tuesday. We won. Hip, hip, hooray. What are you going to get tomorrow? You're going to get a dud? Could be. This doesn't make me feel happy tonight. It doesn't. it's just, I just kind of want to put it out to pasture and just be, you know what? This is what we knew. This is what we expected. Instead, we're stringing us along and going to rip our hearts out towards the end. And that's going to be your 2025 season. Some promising notes. You can say that Nate Lowe finally realized how to make contact with the baseball. That was promising. And Carlos Navarez, after going 0 for 19, finally decided he knew how to hit again. That was it. I questioned a little bit the seventh inning going to Whitlock and then went to Slayton in the eighth, but at the end of the day, it ended up being fine. So I'm not gonna get all upset and throw my remote control out my window here. So you got the job done, and compliments to your seventh, eighth, and ninth inning being, for the most part right now, lockdown. Slayton has shown us plenty right now to know that he can be trusted and he can go into a situation now. Looks like he's healthy and he's going to be the Slayton of old as this season progresses here. So, all in all, you survived. You survived another day with that 0.5 game lead ahead in the wild card race. Woo! It feels so good.
So good. So good.
Sing it, guys. Sing it.
Yeah, I think in that instance you got Cora wanting, Whitlock in that Guerrero at bat more
It was
so.
a matchup. It was the
Yeah, it was a
matchup
matchup thing.
situation. I think it
Yeah.
was the seventh. It was 2, 3, 4, and then in the eighth you went 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
I don't fault it there. It's great that they have that. It's just going to be a matter of, can you score enough runs and not make stupid errors and stupid plays to survive again tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm stunned we won a game against the Jays, but here we are. We're going to survive and get to tomorrow.
Survival. Nick Face's word of the day is powered by Canadian bacon, because just like the Blue Jays, it's not the real thing, but they'll still try to convince you it counts.
Take
And
a
now
bite out of life.
And now we're going to move over to Diamond Notes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Diamond Notes with your host, Nick Diamond.
Well, the biggest reason we won tonight was because how nasty the bullpen was. 4 1/3, no hit innings. They didn't give up a single hit, starting with Justin Wilson to Garrett Whitlock to Justin Slayton to Aroldis Chapman. My biggest note right now is if you go just take a 25 game samples or 25 appearance sample size for Garrett Whitlock, he's given up 1 earned run. The last earned run he's given up was August 17th against the Marlins. That's the last time he's given up an earned run. He's got a .36 ERA with 30 Ks in his last 25 appearances. He's been locked down. This is a guy you're going to need to stretch out into the playoffs if they make it, and stretch out over these next 5 games if they're going to get in. So this is the biggest strength they have going forward. I think they're going to have to ride him because Giolito didn't really look that good. He limited the damage, but this has been 2 or 3 starts going back like that he's not been that good. His command's been shaky. So, my biggest thing today, the biggest note I want to touch on is the bullpen. They've been gross all day or all evening tonight. So I was happy how they performed. Slayton's back. I think he's back. So Nick Face brought that up. Slayton's back. We trust him again. So 7th, 8th, I'm comfortable any way you want him.
Yeah, it took him a couple outings to get right, but I think you guys are correct. I think he's back to being, the nasty guy that we need. Nick Diamond's Diamond Notes is presented by Rogers Wireless. The only thing that drops more in Toronto than cell phone calls is, of course, the Red Sox defense. Moving along today, talk about a few other things. First and foremost, really, is this continuing disgusting habit. I don't know what to call it at this point. Nick Face, Red Sox 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position. You can almost bet on this on FanDuel at this point.
And the weather was a little sunny today, cloudy, and 80 degrees, which means to me, same old, same old. Nothing's ever going to change with this, not with these players. This is what you're going to have going into if you go into a playoff. You're going to limp in. and you're going to get eaten alive by elite pitching and disappear into the sunset and be done. You're not getting Roman Anthony back. We'll talk about that a little bit later, I'm sure, but it's not happening, folks. I don't want to be doomsday. I don't want to be Mr. Negativity here. Negativity Nick, some people give me the nickname of. I'm just calling it as I see. If you don't like the hard facts, shut up. Just shut up. I mean, this is what it is. This season has been exactly as you're seeing right here. They can't consistently score runs. They're a 500 baseball team. Some nights you'll be fine. Majority of the time, you're not going to be able to get on base. You can't hit. You can't get the job done. So this doesn't surprise me here tonight. I'm surprised they actually had 4. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree. Nick Diamond, your thoughts on the Red Sox and their inability to convert those runs on base?
Well, I think 3 of them were Nate Lowe, so he had 3 of them. And then I think the other one was the Willie Abreu bloop early in the game down the left field line that kind of should have been caught by the Blue Jays. So they could have had only 3, realistically. Nate Lowe came through, and he won the game by himself today. I think it's just a lack of talent, honestly. They just don't have enough good players to come through in these big situations. That's all it contributed to. Like, they don't, with Roman Anthony and Rafael Devers, I can see those numbers going up. But right now, those players are not available. And Rafael Devers, they traded him for no reason. So it sucks bringing him up. But you have to. If you had him in this lineup, you wouldn't be as worried about making the postseason. And if you really think about it, if you called Roman Anthony up on opening day, you wouldn't be in this position either, because you would probably already be locking in a postseason spot. That's 3 or 4 more wins if you had Roman Anthony early in the season. The lineup doesn't have enough good players in it, and that's why they can't hit in scoring with runners in scoring position. They got guys like Jarren Duran who can get on base maybe with the speed. They got guys like Romy Gonzalez who hit singles mostly. I know, but they don't have guys that can hit in clutch spots. Alex Bregman hasn't been producing lately. That's the only guy that you can really count on to drive runners in with runners in scoring position. Carlos Narvaez had to do it today, and Nate Lowe. Those are guys bottom of the order that you're really not relying on. And you don't have any guys at the top of the order going right now. It's just a bunch of 7, 8 hole hitters batting 1 through 9.
Yeah, Nick, as you're talking, I'll just bring this up on this segment. So Duran, Story, and Bregman, 1 for 14 with 4 strikeouts, Nick. Kind of talks about what you've been saying. We had to rely on the bottom of the order, but that top of the order, too, is really looking putrid. Your comments?
Do you want Nick? Do you want Diamond or me?
Either one. Go ahead.
It's just pathetic all around. I mean, Duran had 3 of the 4 Ks there. Story had the single. Bregman's been lost for a while. I know you could probably blame it on the injury, but he's got to come back. I know he had a good series in Tampa, but he has to keep going. He's got to bring it. He's the guy you have to rely on over the next 5 days. You just have to rely on him. So if the Red Sox want to make the postseason, it's because Alex Bregman gets hot. If he doesn't, the Red Sox won't.
Nick, face your reactions to Durant's.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't. I think I've said everything I can to say that this team is talentless when it comes to hitting. They're talentless. They can't get the job done. And when you go into a must-win wild card game, you clowns out there that think they're going to get it done, it's not going to happen. I mean, maybe lightning will strike Duran at some point, and he'll make contact and do something useful. That happens now and then. But it's just, I'm so done with it. It's just not a playoff team. It is not good enough. It is not. And the quicker people realize it, the better. So this team can be fixed for the future. It's just not good enough, guys. And this comes back to bite you in the butt, like Nick said already, with Devers and not getting anything there and then trading him away for nothing. It's a joke. If you're going to trade a hitter of that caliber and that talent out of your lineup, freaking replace him. Don't come at me and say Masataka Yoshida is my new Devers. What a freaking joke. And shame on us fans for thinking it's acceptable, guys. It's just not cool. It's not right. We have suffered enough for 6 years. We have. We suffered enough. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it.
Well, to your surprise, Masataka Yoshida
F him.
was 2 for 4 tonight. And in the month of September, he has 15 hits and 48 at bats. I mean, that's good for a 312 batting average, isn't it?
Good. He can go back to Japan.
3 doubles, 9 RBIs, 2 walks on only 4 strikeouts. Nick Face, I'll start with you about Yoshida. Can we count on him for the stretch run?
Absolutely not. Congratulations on your 2 for 4 night. Go collect your trophy at the end of the line and sayonara. He got his participation trophy of the year. Goodbye.
All right. Nick Diamond, can we rely on Yoshida for these next 5 games and beyond?
I think the only reason he was in the lineup today is because his numbers against Kevin Gausman in the past, and the Red Sox really haven't hit him well. So he was the only guy with past success really against Kevin Gausman. So that might be the only reason why he had a couple of hits today. He sees Gausman well, so I wouldn't rely on him. I don't think he's that good of a player, but he has been hot over the last 15 games, I guess. So do you really have a better option? No. So you might as well play him. I mean, I don't think he's a good player, but at this point, you don't have anyone else to replace him. Christian Campbell is not coming up.
No. Circling back, I know we talked a little bit, but Lucas Giolito, 4 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, and 4 walks. He labored a little bit with the walks, but you look at the box score and you probably say to yourself, considering it was Toronto and they're leading the division, and they're in the vial for the best record in baseball. I think you take it, especially in the postseason. Would you take that? Nick Diamond, I'll start with you.
I want to say I don't think this start was as good as what the box score looks like. He had a lot of hard hit foul balls. I think the ball down the line by George Springer was 100% fair. That would have blown the game wide open, and the Blue Jays would have won this game no matter what if that ball was fair. I want to bring that one up right away. This has been 3 or 4 starts in a row where he's been walking guys. The pitch count's been higher than normal. He was at like 90 pitches and 98 pitches. He couldn't get the last out in the 5th. Like, I would take this in a postseason game when you have Garrett Whitlock and Justin Slayton and Aroldis Chapman all saved up, ready to go. But you can't rely on that really. Would I take it? Yes, I would be happy with the outcome. I just don't think that outing against a postseason team all riled up. The Blue Jays just clinched. Do they really care about winning tonight? I don't know. Probably not. But against the team that's ready to go in a postseason atmosphere, that Lucas Giolito outing's 4, 5, 6 runs, not 1 run.
Well, the other thing, too, you brought up that George Springer at bat. The other part of it, and I tweeted it out, if Giolito didn't get squeezed on that prior at bat, I think he had a good strikeout there, and he didn't get the call, and it obviously extended it, the story errors and so forth. Nick Face, your thoughts on Giolito?
Tonight's start screamed the San Diego Padres start of when we saw Lucas Giolito, a sweaty pile of a mess on the mound. Was the roof open tonight or not? I don't know if we ever saw any shots from above.
I'm not sure.
But
it was closed.
I don't know what it was closed. Then what the heck was going on with that? Because that should be a controlled climate. It shouldn't be that sticky. He was a mess, a puddle out there. And whenever he is like that, guys, he has no command of his fastball. He has no control over what the heck is getting thrown. I'm surprised he didn't get tattooed more, to tell you the truth. I really am. This was just a doomsday scenario for him from the get-go. I don't know what was going on with him, but maybe it was nerves or maybe he was just sick. I don't know what was going on. But it reminded me, I had flashbacks of the San Diego game. Do you guys remember that? When he was just an absolute mess. And we were trying to figure out what the heck is going on because he was good up until that point. And it was hot. It was steamy out there in San Diego that night for some odd reason. And he unloaded and unleashed himself. He was terrible that night. So he's lucky that he didn't lose. He really is. 98 pitches. I understand Cora wanting to go to the pen. I get it. Could he have got it out anymore? I don't really think he could have, because if you kept him out there longer, you could have it could have been worse. It could have been a whole lot worse. Could have given up more runs.
Yeah.
This was an escape. This was definitely an escape start tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you manage differently in the postseason than you do in the regular season. We're kind of like almost postseason type of game here. So, look, I'll take it. It could have been worse. It should have been worse. We're very lucky to have this win. They didn't deserve this win, which is the bottom line. I think we can all agree on that. They didn't deserve it. We'll take it, and we need it because we've got 5 more games of sheer terror left. It's like going through the Tower of Terror in Disney World at this point. It's time for Dugout Dipshits.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Dugout Dipshits.
Dugout Dipshits is fueled by Canadian Customs, slowing down visitors for decades, and apparently the Red Sox offense. Today's Dugout Dipshit is none other than Trevor Story. These throws and these mental errors need to stop. Nick Diamond, your thoughts?
The drop was horrendous. You got to catch the ball. He took his eye off the ball, and that's the number one rule in baseball. Look at the baseball. Like look at the ball. The throw, at first, I thought it's just the arm sucks. To be honest, he's got arm problems in the past. The first error was a bad throw, and then I don't know what inning it was. He had a deep ball in the hole, and he made a great throw on a jump throw down to first base. And I'm like, wow, the arm's great there. So I don't know what to make of it. It's just, I think it might have been a nerve or a yip or something. But if you look at his like advanced defensive stats, he's been really bad in September, and he's been getting worse as the season's gone along defensively. So he started off average and it's just been getting pretty worse, like pretty much like worse, steadily worse as we go along. And then in September, it really dropped off. So I don't know what it is. It might be an injury in the throwing arm. It might be he's just tired. He hasn't played 150 games in his career ever since, Colorado days. If that's a real thing. He hasn't played in 5 years. So he might be just tired and he just can't get the balls anymore. And it's lack of focus. I don't know. But I can't really give an answer to that because he made that really good play later in the game, but he made 2 stupid plays that were easy plays. They were easy plays. They were not hard plays. And he made the harder play later on in the inning or later on in the game. So I don't know what to make of it. It's just he needs to just make the plays he needs to make.
Yeah, Nick Face, same question. The one thing that I've noticed too, it wasn't just this game. He obviously had those gaffes in the Tampa Bay series as well. The drop ball at second from Romy Gonzalez. I mean, was he thinking that maybe Romy was just going to throw to first? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I do think that Story did think that Romy was going to go to first. It was the easier play, and Romy decided to kind of upchuck the thing over to him. I think it caught him by surprise, to tell you the truth. But I got to say, overall, I'm kind of done with Trevor Story. I think it's time for David Hamilton to start playing short.
I hope you're.
I've had enough. I am. Really, Jim? Really? What other option do we have, guys? We have to go through the yips. Get him out of here.
I gotta have him above your head. It only makes sense.
Oh God, he's my guardian angel. But overall, there's no other option really. I guess you could throw Sogar out there to spell him a day, but Cora already said we're going to ride it out. We're going to go the whole season, and this is just a case of knowing the play ahead of time. And I think he's mentally not processing every at bat, every pitch, every moment. You got to get your head in the game, and I think he's had his head out in left field a little bit too much for this month. So it's a focus thing, much like many of these players on this team need to do. They need to focus better. They need to understand the mental side of the game. And that is something that I wish my high school baseball coach, I'm going to shout him out, Pete Moscarello, I wish you were there for this team. Because if he were coaching and he were with this team, guys, I'm not even joking, we would be AL champs right now. We would be. That's just how much understanding the game that this man taught me and so many other players in my hometown from stuff. And that's why he's one of the most legendary Massachusetts baseball coaches of all time. There you go, Coach. You got your shout out tonight.
So, just switching gears just a little bit. Now we talked a little bit about it already, but Whitlock, Slate, and Chapman. It's been something that I've been wanting to see since I don't know end of April, early May, before we lost Slayton for quite some period of time. But this goes back to my old philosophy. Get 6 innings out of your starter, and the game is over. Nick Face, your thoughts?
This is what we thought was going to be our best weapon of the season. Going into it, if you were able to get Whitlock back in some sort of a rhythm, 1 inning has been absolutely awesome for Whitlock. That has been the biggest difference to me in why the bullpen has been a success. Chapman's in his own world. We nobody expected to have anything like this. But at least we knew with Chapman when he was signed that he had experience. And that is something that I think the Red Sox are willing to take a chance with and let Kenley Jansen take a hike. So that was something I was willing to take a chance on and take a risk with. We all thought going in Justin Slayton, if healthy, was going to be that guy. And he ended up not being it because he got hurt for so long. We saw flashes early and then it just wasn't there. He got hurt for so long. I'm actually surprised that he's back and dominating right now. It's a small sample size, but at least we've seen he can do it. And that's big because we have missed that other complementary piece to Whitlock as your right-handed setup guy. And that, I think, has been why this team is still in a wild card contention. It's your 7, 8, 9. I'll even put Justin Wilson's name in there. He's had a tremendous season, and I don't think he gets enough credit where credit's deserved too. He's
No, he
been
doesn't.
awesome as a guy that we took a flyer on and said, let's ride it here. Outside of that, I mean, Steven Matz has been, it's just a guy. He's really been the Bernardino in that role for the most part since the second half began. And then Greg Weiser, it's been mediocre. His numbers look better than what it is, but I don't want him anywhere near a baseball diamond if there's runners on base. Get him out. So I'm thrilled that we're seeing another complementary piece to Whitlock to get the ball to Chapman. And that is why we're having this conversation now about why this team is at least still in wild card contention and ahead right now. If you want me to be nice, I'll be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Justin Wilson doesn't get enough credit. He's been really good all season. He's had a couple outings that were a little tough. Today was a little tough, but he wound up getting through it. But I agree with you. Guys like Weissert, Steven Matz, maybe even Zach Kelly. I'm still not sold on Zach Kelly.
I can't do Kelly. I can't do it.
No, the stuff is there, but it's just he can't harness it. There's something about him, and I want him to do well. I want him to be another weapon out of that bullpen, but I just
don't.
can't.
It's not going to happen.
I
It's
don't
not
like
going to
him.
happen.
Yeah.
He's a worse version of Matt Barnes. He is.
Yeah. But you know what? Just to your point, I don't want Weissert or Matz anywhere near a lead, in the playoffs.
You can't.
Nick Diamond, your reactions to the bullpen and what we were talking about.
Whitlock's been great for the longest time. He's the best unsung hero of this team. Everyone brings up Chapman. Everyone brings up the Crochets and that part of the pitching staff. But Whitlock deserves all the credit as well. You guys brought up Wilson. He deserves all the credit as well. I think that's another guy that everybody wrote off. I think he was a very cheap signing early on. That's the first thing Breslow did. And everyone was like, why would you commit money to this guy with a major league deal after the season he was having? And I guess they saw something out of him, so good for them. One more thing, I guess on Chapman, I guess the velocity has been down the last 2 or 3 games. He was sitting like 95, 96 today, a little concerning. I saw 1 or 2, he got up 98, 99. I know when I was in Tampa, I was looking up on that board, it was like 95, 96 as well. So it's maybe a little concerning, but he's still getting outs and still getting dominating. So if he's not complaining about an injury, I'm not going to complain. But in the postseason, I'd rather see 102 than 96.
Yeah, I'm hoping we do too. It could have been just a situation with who he was facing today, and with a 3-run lead, maybe he felt a little bit more comfortable dialing it back a little bit. But to your point, obviously, if we are in more of a pressure situation where he's facing the tying run, go ahead run, or they're go ahead run or tying runs on base, then we'll know. Because if he doesn't dial back and hit 100, 102, then we'll know we have some issues there. Before we do wild card information, a little bit on Roman Anthony and an update. Cora said there's still quite a bit of room to get to in terms of baseball activity, which is just basically verbal vomit to what I say is you're not going to see Roman Anthony until 2026. Nick Diamond, I'll start with you.
That's exactly right. I don't even think if they make the World Series, we see Roman Anthony back. They're not going to risk him. I don't know if I agree with it. If they're in the ALCS, I'd probably rush him back here, but I don't think there's any chance he comes back. So they're not going to rush up their 21-year-old superstar. They're not going to risk anything with him, and it sounds like he doesn't even feel good. So they might have downplayed this injury. He might have been like a 12-week injury instead of that 4 to 6 week injury that we kind of 6 to 8 week injury that we kind of originally thought about or were told about. Just get him healthy for 26. That's all that matters. If he's not in the lineup, the Red Sox are going to be mediocre again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing you could hope for would him to be DH because he's not going to play the outfield if he comes back. But I have absolutely, and I tweeted this too today. I said, Red Sox fans and Red Sox Twitter are delusional if they think he's coming back. Nick, you're salivating. Go ahead.
I'm going to do a spelling lesson with our lovely folks out there. Everybody ready? We're going to go back to first grade. The first letter is a D. The second letter is an O. The third letter is an N, as in my name and Nick's name. N with Nick. And then the last letter is E. Done. D-O-N-E. You can mail that right to Fenway Park because that is what you will see of Roman Anthony if for some miraculous reason or some whatever happens with this team making to the playoffs. He's not coming back. And then there's the matter of the fact, how are you going to get out of a wild card game? How are you going to get into an ALDS series? How are you going to get to a championship series? You have nothing for consistency for anybody in the lineup to get it done. I'm not as concerned with your Crochets, your Bayos, your Giolitos, your bullpen. I'm not concerned on that front. I am concerned with how the hell you are going to score runs. You can't do it, especially up against the elite of the elite for pitching. It's not going to happen. So, you done. D-O-N-E.
Yeah. And also, too, he's going to come back kind of raw, right? I mean, even if you were to bring him back in an ALCS championship series, you don't even know what you're going to get. I mean, obviously his eye is great, but, you don't know if he's going to wind up actually costing you.
Can I bring up one point before we close this?
Sure.
And I hope to God that I'm wrong on this. But is Roman Anthony fragile?
I kind of think Marcelo Mayer is.
Marcelo Mayer is. Roman Anthony, this is the first real injury he's ever had.
Is this a fluke?
I don't know. An oblique injury at 21 is kind of annoying, but you can't really call him injury prone on his first injury. I mean, if it happens again, if another oblique pops up in June, then yeah, you could start bringing up that conversation.
The only reason I brought it up with the injury prone is because there were issues with the back, and then it turned to the oblique because he was out a little bit, and then he toughed it out and gutted it out. I think he DH'd at some point. Was that the Minnesota series, if I remember correctly, for the deadline? Something was going on there, and they DH'd him for a bit. We thought that there was some big injury going on. He talked to the media. He was like, "I'm fine. I'll be good in a couple days." And then the oblique happened. So that's why maybe the word fragile isn't the best word to say it, but is he capable of playing a full 162 in Major League Baseball? Is he physically able to? And right now, I am seeing these prospects come up and not be able to do it. Let's
Mhm.
highlight Tristan Casas, our lovely first baseman, who we can't stay on the field to save his life, and then other things, which could be a whole other show. But then it's Marcelo Meyer, then it's Roman Anthony. We've had pitchers injured throughout the season and all, and even last year as well too. I question durability big time. I do. And I think that can come down to strength and conditioning. I think that can come down to just over the long haul. I don't think these guys over the long haul can get it done. There's some sort of big issue here in Boston with these players not coming up into the system to be able to sustain playing Major League Baseball. And we have got to fix this.
I've had concerns. I've had concerns over the big three and the big four since, we've been talking about them for the last couple of years and it's been shoved down our throats. Make no mistake, I am very high on Anthony. I'm very glad he's here and I think he has a lot of upside. But to your point, injuries can sustain and create a situation where, the best of the best athlete is probably going to be hurt and then never really have that potential. We've seen it happen before with a lot of players that never come back from injuries. Nomar is a classic example. In 1990, the Yankees had a stud minor league draft pick named Brian Taylor. He was a left-handed starter. Got injured in a bar fight. Never actually played a major league game ever. And I believe that he was taken by the Yankees over Frank Thomas. So if you guys want to kind of go back down memory lane, imagine the Yankees going and not taking Frank Thomas over Brian Taylor. So these things happen, and it's concerning. Everybody. What bothers me too is that you look at the A's and you see like, Nick Kurtz, and you see the Tampa Bay, and you see Junior Caminero. They're getting these young guys in there that are good power threats. I don't know. I mean, obviously, time will tell. But, is Roman Anthony a 40 home run guy? Is he a 35 home run guy? Is Christian Campbell a 35 home run guy? Is Marcelo Mayer a 25 to 30 home run guy? I don't think we're going to have any of that. And we don't have any of that in the system. And we don't have any of that on the major league roster. Look, Abreu started off very strong. We know that. But at the end of the day, he's going to wind up at 22, 23 home runs. So I'd like to see more power out of one or two of these positions in the lineup, and we're just not getting it. And I am in fear that the Red Sox have put too much stock in these guys. You've given Roman Anthony 150 million. You've given Christian Campbell 60. You gave Sadan 60. You gave Brian Bayo 50 million. Great, they're all locked up, but are they really going to take it to the promised land? That's really what we need to watch. Speaking about watch, it's time for Wild Card Watch.
And now it's time for the Wild Card Watch.
Okay, so Wild Card Watch is presented by Air Canada, flying the Sox in to go 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position since 2012. We currently have a wild card standings that's looking like the following. So the Yankees have clinched a playoff berth. That is official. They are up +4 in the wild card. The Red Sox, with the win tonight, remain +1 over the Detroit Tigers, who I have been clamoring, and Thayer has been clamoring for the last 3 or 4 episodes about, keep your eye on them because they could be your contender, and you may not even be worried about the Guardians. I'll open it up to Nick Diamond first, but I think what I want to pose this statement. I think right now my thought was whoever won Game 1 of that Guardians Tigers series, I now want them to sweep that series. So since Cleveland won, I think, Nick, we got to hope that Cleveland sweeps Detroit. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree with that at this moment. You either want the Tigers to win the division or the Cleveland to just bury the Tigers. So I hope Cleveland just sweeps them out of the road here, or sweeps them and just goes in there. They go into the series with the Red Sox, them losing like 10 straight because they've lost, what, 7 straight now? 8 straight? Something insane. So they're
They
on a
lost
free fall
7.
right now. They've lost 7 in a row. So
They're 1-9 in their
it would,
last 10.
yeah, that's just bad. They're in free fall mode. We're getting them at the right time. So I think today's win with the Red Sox winning against the Blue Jays puts them in a way better spot than it did maybe last night or 2 nights ago when we were talking. But it's still a little bit scary down the stretch here. So I agree with you. I think we just want Cleveland to win out here and bury the Tigers. And then when we get the Tigers, hopefully we win this crochet start tomorrow, and that's all we can hope for. If we win the crochet start tomorrow and they take care of the Tigers, we're in. But we'll see what happens.
Nick Face.
Also, the Astros play tonight, so that's another thing that we got to keep an eye on. They're playing right now, I think.
Nick Face, here's a scenario for you. The Boston Red Sox sweep Toronto. They would have 88 wins, and they would be 88-71 going into the final series. Cleveland sweeps the Tigers, and the Tigers are now 85-74. Then the Tigers sweep the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox and Tigers are now tied 88 wins, and the Tigers have the head-to-head, and the Red Sox are out. Your thoughts?
That's why all the games matter. It truly is. I mean, you clunked in April when you faced them in Detroit, and you got swept. And that could very well, Jim, come back to bite them in the butt if that does happen.
The only way they're out in that scenario is if the Astros basically win out. The Astros are the odd man out at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So the Red Sox get in as the three.
That's what I'm
wild card. They'd still get in at that instance.
Right now, it is 1-0 Athletics against the Astros. Right now, they are in the top of the third.
If the Astros don't get to their 85th win tonight, the Red Sox are in a way better spot.
Correct.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're talking about Astros elimination, I'm with you there. But what about the scenario, Nick? I'll ask you too, Nick Diamond. What about that scenario I just posed? Again, let me just refresh the fans and listeners. The Red Sox sweep Toronto, get you to 86 wins. Detroit gets swept by
88
Cleveland.
wins, right? Yeah.
Yep. Detroit gets swept by Cleveland, and then Detroit sweeps Boston. Both teams finish 88 wins. Detroit wins the playoff spot.
They're both in the playoff spot.
Detroit wins the playoff spot.
But because then we get the 2 seed, we get the 3 seed, or the 2 wild card, we get the 3 wild card.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the Astros would be going home.
Yeah, the Astros would have to get 89 wins. They'd have to win 5 of the last 6.
5 of the last 6.
That's the only way the Red Sox would be out in that scenario. If they sweep the Blue Jays, they're in a great spot.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see how the Red Sox are going to sweep the Blue Jays.
If the Red Sox sweep the Blue Jays, that puts the Yankees in a really good spot to take the division.
Correct.
Now, is that something
that might open up something up again? I don't know.
Well, the Yankees are now only 1 game out of that particular scenario. So they are just as close to the division title as it is winning the first seed at this point when you really look at all those numbers. So, that changes the landscape too, because now, it's a different story of where the Red Sox would go. So let's assume the Red Sox win, and Toronto is a wild card and the Yankees are a division winner. So where would the Red Sox go now if they are the third wild card? Would they go to Seattle? Is that right?
They would go to Cleveland.
Okay.
It looks like, well, It looks like the top two division winners that get the bye would be the East and the West. The Mariners have 87 wins. The Blue Jays have 90, and the Cleveland has 85. The Yankees wouldn't get a bye because they have 89 wins.
I have a question.
Okay.
Nick, who do you want? Jim, who do you want? And then I'll give you who I want.
I want the Yankees.
Okay.
Nick, when you said you want the Yankees, do you want them at home or do you want them in New York?
I prefer them at home, but
It's too far away.
I don't want to face Scooble in a 3-game series, and I don't want to face that Mariners team either. Cleveland scares me on the run they're on. If we're just going talent-wise, I'm taking Cleveland, but with the run they're on right now, I don't want them.
I don't want them either.
Right. See, that's the crazy part about this. I think the Yankees are a better team than Cleveland on paper, but the crazy run they're on right now is the issue.
I think the best chance you could win, I think the best way for the Red Sox to win, in my opinion, is to get the Yankees in a 3-game series. Maybe Seattle,
Nick,
but I don't know.
Yeah. So that's
I'm in the exact same predicament. I want the
That's gonna be
Yankees,
my
and I don't care if it's home or away. You've had the best run against the Yankees this season. You take that, you run. Absolutely. I am petrified of Cleveland right now with how hot they've been. And Seattle with Cal Raleigh and all those guys, they could pound us. So I definitely am it's crazy to say it, but yeah, I still think overall, and we've said this before, even though Yankees may have a better spot in a wild card or even the division if they get it, the Red Sox are a better team than the Yankees.
So the updated postseason on MLB.com, their bracket picture as it relates to, I don't know if they've updated it as of tonight's finished games, but it was Toronto had the 1 seed, Seattle had the 2 spot, Cleveland was the 3rd spot, Yankees 4, Red Sox 5, Detroit 6. So as it stands right now, we would be facing New York, and Detroit would face Cleveland yet again. And then the winner of our matchup against the Yankees would then face Toronto. So we would be on the road in New York. Then we would be on the road in Toronto, and that would take us to the ALCS. And from that point, I don't know, is it going to be head-to-head there, or is it best record still for the ALCS?
I think that's best record.
It's best record. So there's almost no way the Red Sox get home field advantage.
We have no home field advantage all the way to potentially the World Series.
There's no way they get home field advantage unless they play like the Reds in
Right.
the World Series.
Yeah, if they were the only team that could make the postseason with a worst record.
Reds or Mets. Yeah.
The Mets, right, yeah. And likely that's not going to happen. So, yeah, so you're probably going to be the underdogs all the way through, providing – and again, it's like fairy tale that we get that far. So we'll see. Obviously, it's going to be very interesting. Any closing thoughts, Nick Diamond, your closing thoughts on tonight's game and anything else you want to bring up?
Nothing really in tonight's game. I think we get Crochet on a short rest tomorrow, or at least we pushed him up a start or a day. So that's interesting to watch. Kind of a must-win game. So it's kind of nice to see him with a sense of urgency. We'll get Garrett Crochet tomorrow night, and I hope he's good.
Nick, face your closing thoughts for tonight.
Yeah, it's a big one for Crochet. I'm interested to see what he looks like on short rest tomorrow. I think if he goes and throws well, the Red Sox are likely to lose the getaway game Thursday, and then that would bring the Tigers to town. And what kind of scares me here a little bit with the Tigers is what has it been 1-9 in their last 10?
Mm-hmm. They're due.
They're due. Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth right with that. Yeah, and that's what scares me entering that final weekend at Fenway. So I'm glad we're home but we just haven't been playing that great. We just haven't. Um, it's going to come down to those last 3 games. It really is on where we're going to head, whether we're done, whether we have a 1-game playoff. I'm still going with I can't still see this team somehow going to the playoffs. Not with what I see right now, at least hitting wise. Pitching wise, you can make your case, of course, with Crochet and your bullpen. That would be the only reason that we'd be getting there. That would be it. Is if Crochet throws a gem, we see a bounce back performance from Bayo showing us that he's worth the money, he's the future, he's our upcoming ace. If we see that and then see somebody in that 3-game set against the Tigers take the ball and just dominate, and the hitters find a way to get it done, that's when you can make the case that they could get to a playoff. But that's how it's going to have to be. Someone's going to have to step up, and I can't tell you right now who it's going to be. Not at least in our lineup. I can't.
Well, the other part of that too is that you got to scoreboard watch that Houston series. I mean, if the Houston Astros blow it, even if we lose, a game or two in Toronto, there's a very good likelihood that we're going to get in. I think Nick Diamond, would you say they had to go 5-1 in that scenario? The Red Sox 3-3.
If the Red Sox go 3-3, I think the Astros have to go 5-1. If the Red Sox to go 4-2, they have to go 6-0.
Yeah, so
it's it's 1-1 right now in the third. The Astros just scored.
Yes. So, I mean, you're asking a lot out of the Astros. I mean, they're playing garbage. They're playing the Athletics and the Angels. So, I mean, their destiny is in their hands, too, to be able to – but still, 5-1, I don't care who you're facing. It's tough. I know it's possible, but, when you need to win 5-1, go 5-1, that's asking for a hell of a lot. So, but again, a lot of that's dependent on what the Red Sox do. I have to be honest with you. I feel a little good about tomorrow's game. I know Crochet's on short rest, but Max Scherzer is really not that guy anymore. I mean, he's had a pretty crappy season, and I don't know how much he's going to be dialing in on that. I think he's going to probably retire at the end of this year. I don't see him, going forward anymore. He is 41 years old. A 5-4 record with an ERA over 5. He doesn't have it anymore. So advantage Red Sox on that alone. And then in game 3, I think it's going to come down to Alex Cora has to start managing with urgency. Every single move he makes needs to be with the with such killer instinct is the best way I'll say it, because he can't be lax. He can't fall asleep at the wheel. He's got to be very strong with every shrewd move he makes, because we cannot afford to be in a situation where we're hanging on by a thread and he makes some bonehead move, bringing in the wrong reliever at the wrong time, or not pinch hitting when he needed a pinch hit, or whatever that case might be. So all I'm going to say is these last, 5 games, keep your eye out on Alex Cora, because he could be the guy that ruins this for us. That being said, we're going to wrap up tonight's show. Thank Nick and Nick for being on. If you are a listener and haven't subscribed yet to our digital website product with our newsletter, please go to redsoxdigest.com. A lot of great articles on there recapping everything from the season. Have a good night, everybody. We will be on tomorrow night as well, as we're doing every game up until the last one on Sunday. So we'll be with you all the way out.
They're going to get sick of us.
They're going to get sick of us, or they're going to enjoy the hell of it, because
they could. No, they'll enjoy it.
We're the only group here that tells it like it is and doesn't sugarcoat shit. So